Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Talking Tuesday edition of Palmetto Sports Daily. Rick Henry in Columbia, Tegan Brown in Myrtle Beach, Kevin Bilodeau in Charleston, and Carmine Jamay in Greenville. All right, Talking Tuesday. What are the Gamecocks talking about? Well, they're talking about Mike Furry, the wide receiver / passing game coordinator, who's taking over as the main play caller for the Gamecocks after the firing of offensive coordinator Mike Shula. And talking to the players today, and both Coach Shane Beamer, they like the passion and the energy that Furry is bringing to the job. Coach Beamer said, hey, they threw some plays out of the playbook. They're making tweaks to some other things. And the only bad thing, they have to go to Texas A&M, a team that Coach Beamer said today just may be the best team in the country. And what he likes about Coach Furry, one of the things he likes about Mike Furry, is that he brings a different voice to the offense. Let's hear from Coach Beamer right now.
I believe that players in so many ways take on the personality of their coach, and you know, Mike Shula's personality is different than Mike Furry's, and doesn't mean that one's right or wrong. Mike Shula's won a lot of football games and has called plays in the Super Bowl and has been an SEC head coach that won double-digit games with that personality. So it doesn't make it wrong. Mike's personality is different, and it is a different voice, and there's a different energy, vibe, whatever you want to call it, in those offensive meetings. And
so now, do I expect the Gamecock offense to come out and look like one of the best offenses in the country? No, but I would like to see a little more creativity, putting players in position where they can be successful, and also I want to see a more confident Lenore Sellers at quarterback. Kevin.
Yeah, you know, I'm not really buying the new, this is a new atmosphere, that kind of thing, because I feel like we saw that already this year with South Carolina. After they made the move to elevate Sean Elliott as the offensive line head coach, we were like, this is going to be a whole new thing for them, and this is a new voice. We heard all this before already, and the running game hasn't really improved in that time since Sean Elliott kind of took over that offensive line. So I'm not buying that this is going to be anything new. Hopefully there's going to be some new plays. I'm guessing that we don't want to see that, 1st and 10 run right up the middle anymore this season. Hopefully that's one of the plays that Shane threw out of the playbook earlier this week when they made some moves. But I mean, this is still the same personnel. It's the same team that they've had all year, and now they're going up against the number 3 team in the country. I don't think we're going to see that much different this week, Tegan.
No, I don't think so either. And you talked to Rick about giving Lenoris the confidence back and getting that aspect in here, but I just don't know, with all of these changes that are supposedly supposed to make positive differences, if this is making a positive difference for the players. So I'm curious if any of the players talked at Talking Tuesday today, and if they were asked about this, Rick.
Yes, they were. And while they said it was disappointing that Coach Shula had to lose his job, but they did mention the passion and the energy that Coach Furry brings. And they seem very optimistic, and they just seem ready to go out, get on the field, and see what they can do. But you have to admit, it's a very tough challenge that they're facing, because you're dealing with the same players, but hopefully they'll find some plays in there that will work against a very tough Texas A&M defense. But very tough road for the Gamecocks. Carmine?
Yeah. Definitely, Rick. And at the very least, if they were going to make a change on the bye week, they'll have an extra week there to implement some of Furry's concepts and play calling. And if anything, Furry might be able to suit up and play a little tight end or a fullback. He still looks like he's ready to go out there. But as far as Clemson on their offensive side, Cade Klubnik has been showing incredible toughness. In the Duke loss by just 1 point, he helped that offense put up 45 points. And if we can take some of the video here, we'll see the great atmosphere after the most recent Florida State win, even though they only put up 24 points. But Cade did lead a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown for himself. And then all the Clemson faithful gathered at the paw and celebrated, which was really nice to get the monkey off their back a little bit after losing 4 home games in a single season for the first time in more than 25 years. There you see the fireworks going off. off. It was a crazy scene there. But as far as Cade, despite coming back from that ankle injury in the Duke game, he threw and completed 27 of his 36 passes for 385 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. And then most recently in the win over Florida State this past Saturday, completed 20 out of his 27 passes, 220 passing yards, 1 touchdown through the air, and I did mention that rushing touchdown as well. And in this game, he wasn't battling the ankle injury that he had against Duke. He was battling a quad injury that he suffered in the Duke game. So his legs just getting beat up. And from my observant viewpoint and breaking down the tape with Coach Dabo Swinney after every game, it looks like Cade's more committed to the pass because he knows he's not as mobile as he could be. But here's Coach Swinney on Cade's toughness and also his ability to play at the next level very soon.
I mean, he's got complete respect of this football team. He just battles. He's a warrior, man. I mean, you can just count on that. If Cade Klubnik can play, he's going to play. I mean, there's a lot of guys that wouldn't be playing, especially guys that know they're going to be going on in the NFL or whatever. Cade's got a bright future. He's a ball player and just getting better and better and going to have a great future in the NFL. I mean, I think he's going to be a great pro. He's got all the arm talent. He just loves ball. Like, this guy was born to play football. Like, he was born to, like, get up, go to the football office, be there all day, and just play football. That's what he loves to do. He's always up here sitting in the meetings, watching tape. I mean, he just loves it, and he loves Clemson. He loves Clemson. He loves his teammates. So yeah, he's a highly respected guy in the locker room, because certainly they know he's a talented player, but just his toughness and his commitment. He's just a relentless competitor.
And speaking of a young man who was born to play football, how about Dabo's son, Clay Swinney, who became the third and final one of his sons to score in a Clemson game, scoring on a 2-point conversion. You might know that Dabo's sons usually are experts at holding the ball for the kicks, a very specialized but very important position. And if you don't notice Clay Swinney, that's a good thing because that means he's doing his job. One of his most important holds was for that ACC championship, the 56-yard field goal by Nolan Hooser last season. Clutch moment there, but he's been doing a great job. And in this game against Florida State, after the first touchdown that Cade Klubnik ran in, they called a little trickery, and they had Clay Swinney, the holder, took the ball, ran it up, very close to getting in. They ruled it a 2-point conversion successfully on the field, didn't have enough to overturn it. So Clay has now scored something that his dad, Dabo, never did when he was a wide receiver himself at Alabama. So let's listen in to Coach Swinney talking about a question that our Palmetto sports reporter Ella Grogan asked him if his wife Kathleen was briefed on putting their son in harm's way for that 2-point conversion, and then Clay asking a very important press conference question while actually interrupting Dabo's presser. Let's check out this exchange right here.
No, she had no idea. She was mad. She's like, how come I didn't know he was? I said, well, I mean, she's on a need-to-know basis. No, she had no idea. Should have just been a walk, but a good job. We got it in there and just about enough, and it was a good momentum play. It was just something that we had on tape, and we're like, well, why not go up 2 scores? Well, hello there.
I got a question in the back.
Oh boy.
Who would you say is the best holder you've had this last decade?
Oh boy. Well, I don't know, but they all have had a great mom. That's what I would say. That's a tough question. They've all been great. So I'm the only Swinney with a sack.
Tough shoes to follow. Every now and then, some bickering will come up, just some friendly bickering. But I'd say Drew's probably the mediator, classic middle child. Does a good job being like, everyone's done a good job,
So you heard Dabo there say he hasn't scored, unlike his sons, but he has had a sack. So he's differentiating himself on the football talents there. Kevin, you have kids yourself. This is kind of a pretty fun exchange and much easier to do this now when you can have a little relief. Tigers, of course, still need to win 2 of their next 3 going into Louisville on a Friday as the 19th ranked team in the country for the Cardinals. Going to be a difficult game, but it's nice to have a cool moment, and especially between the Swinney family right there.
It is, and Dabo does have a sack that the other guys don't have. And the other thing he's got is a lot of courage, because getting up there and saying your wife is not on a need-to-know basis, I know from firsthand experience that is not the way to go, especially in a national press conference. Rick, I'm pretty sure you could back me up on that. That is a brave move by Dabo right there.
A couple of years ago, I'm shopping for a new car. We're taking a test drive with the sales guy, young guy. He's getting married soon. And he's asking me for some advice. I say, the best advice I can give you, always know that you're wrong. Even when you know you're right, you're wrong. You do that, you'll have a long and successful marriage. Some words of
Surprised
wisdom.
you didn't try to talk him out of the marriage there, Rick.
Yeah, I don't know how that ended up.
Well, I can't say I have any experience with those things, but still a really cool moment between Dabo and his son there. And yeah, I mean, Carmine, they've got another big test coming up. They still need 2 more wins to get bowl game eligibility, and they've got 3 games left.
Yeah, exactly. And one of those against Furman, which would be, you really have to figure that should be a win, regardless of something crazy happening. So then really needing to win 1 out of the 2 between Louisville and then the Gamecocks game, anything can happen. But believe me, they haven't forgotten about Louisville snapping Clemson's 6-game winning streak last season in Death Valley. And that Jeff Brom team is tough despite an overtime loss to Cal this past week. But we're just getting started here on Palmetto Sports Daily. Much more sports talk on this Talking Tuesday right after this.
And welcome back to this Talking Tuesday edition of Palmetto Sports Daily. We started off the show talking college football, and we're going to talk a little more college football. This time with the South Carolina State Bulldogs. SC State, they're on track to repeat as champions of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. They are undefeated in conference play with 2 more games left in the regular season, starting Friday at North Carolina Central. Then they'll close out the regular season at Delaware State. Both Delaware State and the Bulldogs are undefeated in MEAC play. Now, SC State head coach Chennis Berry, he believes in putting his team through a tough test early on in the season. They open up against Wofford, open up with a win at home. Then they played the Gamecocks, and while they showed some toughness against the Gamecocks, South Carolina prevailed. They also went down to Florida to play South Florida. Again, they showed some toughness and put up a good fight for the first quarter, most of the first half before losing that game. And they had I guess a hiccup, you can say, against Charleston Southern. Charleston Southern snapped their long losing streak against the Bulldogs, but every other game went the way that you kind of expected with SC State. They're undefeated at home also. And here's Coach Berry talking about getting his team prepared for this time of the season.
Those games early in the year prepare you for these moments. And I told our staff, because you get this time of the year and guys get banged up. I mean, it's going on game 11. So guys are banged up, but if you play guys early and get them game experience early, which is what I was doing all season, when you get to this point of the year, you're going to have to play some guys that may have not been starters at the beginning of the season, but they've played so much throughout the year. Now they're just like starters. So we're pretty, in a good spot. We got a couple guys banged up. I think they'll be ready by game day. We got a few guys banged up, but all in all, it's week 11. We know what's at stake, and our guys will be ready to go this upcoming Friday.
In the game, the Bulldogs certainly show that they can persevere against adversity. Against Morgan State, they blew a 20-point-plus lead in the fourth quarter, hung on to win by 6. And then even Saturday against Morgan State, they were leading 21-0, had an awful second quarter, but then they blocked the field goal, returned it for a touchdown on the final play of the first half to win that game pretty easily. So now we'll see what they can do Friday, 5:30 kickoff at North Carolina Central.
Yeah, and it really feels like the Bulldogs have the tough part of their MEAC schedule still ahead of them, because NC Central comes in at 7-3 on the season, 2-1 in the MEAC. If they win this one, Delaware State, they go to Delaware State next week. They're still undefeated in the MEAC as well at 3-0. They're 7-3 overall. So they've done a good job of getting ready to this point, but now Carmine, the tough part's still ahead for them.
Yeah, you got to have a strong push here, and there's still an opportunity, Tegan, to go either way, because look at Clemson, how they've started. They still have a chance to get bowl eligibility despite being so disappointing. The Gamecocks, hey, if they win over Texas A&M, and then they should win over Coastal, and then what if they finish with a win over Clemson? They could be bowl eligible also, and so there's still a lot to play for even for teams that aren't at the top of their conference.
Yeah, it's crunch time for sure. And I mean, you look at Coastal, and something Tim Beck said yesterday on the Sunbelt media call was just that they haven't done anything yet. He's like, sure, we're bowl eligible. Sure, we've done a lot, but we want a different spot in the postseason. A lot of these schools are still having those big goals. We're going to take a quick break here on Palmetto Sports. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Palmetto Sports Daily. We move over to college basketball. We had a all low country matchup last night as Charleston Southern made the trip down to face off against the Citadel, and having one of the better performances, at least individual performances, we have seen in this area in a long, long time. And it was from newcomer Bryson Blaine, who put up 42 points in the CSU upset victory at the Citadel last night, all part of a 96-88 victory for the Bucks over the Bulldogs. But not just 42 points, also added 11 rebounds, had 8 assists, 2 steals, and just 1 turnover on the night. So just an incredible performance from this newcomer who's been putting up big numbers the entire season so far, but really his coming out party last night for Charleston Southern, for Bryson Blaine. And like I said, 42 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, just 1 turnover. Really impressive move. And the Citadel, they were in this game for a majority of the night. It was a back-and-forth game, but they just couldn't stop Blaine toward the end of the night as he put up just numbers we haven't seen a lot of. You see him right there. Like I said, an individual performance we haven't really seen the likes of here in a long, long time.
That might be the most impressive thing that I've seen, that ability to make shots. I keep telling people, man, they ask me, tell me about Bryson Blaine. I keep telling them he's dangerous. And I think he showed everybody tonight what I meant by he's dangerous. So really glad to have that kid.
It's easy when I got like teammates like we have. They move the ball. The offense works, and it fits me perfect. So it's just some nights anybody can have a night like this.
Both teams played at a high level offensively, and we'll grow from this. You see a performance like that from 11. Somebody gets going on you. Now we know we've got to work on how do we take that guy out of that rhythm. And we tried to go to some different things tonight, but then that was affecting us on the offensive end, and that happens sometimes early in the year. You get the combinations a little messed up.
Bucks are going to be back in action coming up on Friday when they travel out to Huntsville, Alabama to face Alabama A&M. Tegan?
Yeah, well, Coastal Carolina at home tonight, taking on Winthrop, and the Chanticleers coming off of a huge win against Virginia Lynchburg. I believe it was 121-44, if I remember correctly. But Coastal Carolina 1-1 on the season, getting ready to host an old Big South rival back from the days before they were in the Sun Belt. And, a lot of players on the team are maybe not old enough or maybe weren't paying attention to the Big South back then. But head coach Justin Gray is really trying to get them this week to just use rivalry as energy, because when they used a kind of angry energy coming off of their first loss of the season, they performed really well against Virginia Lynchburg. So he's hoping to make that happen again.
We don't have a lot of guys that have experience or probably know as much about the rivalry, so we try to do a good job of depicting that to them. But also, we told them every time you get the chance to play, it's the most important game, right? And so don't try to put so much weight on just one. All of them are important. And more importantly, we're playing at home. And, if you're trying to be a special team, special teams win at home.
Yeah, that game happening Wednesday at 7 o'clock, and it is the last time they'll be home for a while because the Chants will not be home again until November 30th. So a teal out in the HTC Center hopefully should be a good crowd. But we're going to take a quick break here again on Palmetto Sports Daily. We'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back. As we close out Palmetto Sports Daily, we have a big-time women's hoops matchup coming up. The Palmetto Series #2 South Carolina Gamecocks hosting the Clemson Tigers. And the spread on this game is 31.5, which I think is probably about double of what it'll be. I think people are sleeping on Clemson. They don't really know much about them. Rick, I think with the transfers that Sean Poppy's brought in and the returners, this could be about a 15-point win for the Gamecocks. And the Gamecocks could be overlooking the Tigers right now because they have a top 10 matchup at USC later this week. What do you think?
Well, I hope the Tigers have their track shoes on because the Gamecocks are playing a little bit faster this year, and boy, can they score. 114 points in their last game. Don Staley lost her first 2 games against Clemson. Since then, 14-0, and she likes this series because she wants to earn a point for the Palmetto Series.
Palmetto points means a lot, it does in the whole grand scheme of things. I think just winning, just continue to win and understand. I think my first 2 years, losing to them was a big deal, like a real big deal. So that's always etched in my brain and my heart when it comes to this rivalry game. So I always want to give us another Palmetto point.
Okay, my pick, Gamecocks, I'll say by 28. Tegan?
I'll say Gamecocks by 32. Kevin?
30. Gamecocks. Carmine.
I'm going to go 12. I think this game is going to be a lot closer, a little bit scary in the third quarter maybe, but I think the Gamecocks take it by double digits in the end. We're done for today. We'll report on the results of that game tomorrow. Thanks for joining us here on Palmetto Sports Daily.